Hey, everybody. This is Coach Wellington here with I Represent the 2%. We are super excited to be back with you. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a guest sit down with us. And this time last week, I was a guest on another podcast and unable to record. We're really excited to be back with you. And tonight, we're going to talk about just opportunity and, trusting God and moving forward. And sticking to plan A, and just being focused on, where it is that you recognize the Lord is taking you. And so tonight our guest is Torreyun Wood. He is a credit mogul in the making, and he works with Financial Education Services. His current title is Executive Sales Director, and he's going to tell us about his organization and how things are functioning and flowing, the services that he provides, give you an opportunity to give his contact information. So if you need to do business on that side, clean up your credit, of course, financial education, financial literacy, group economics. These are the things that are going to free us going forward. So without further ado, welcome to I Represent the 2%, Torreyun Wood. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Mr. Wilson. I want to thank you for, reaching out and, establishing, where we can, come together and do, live together and just give value. Like I said, I really appreciate that. You didn't have to. You could have thought of anybody else, but we've been knowing each other since high school. So to watch the growth from high school to now is. It's absolutely amazing. And then be able to, work out with you and run with you and different things, spend time. I really appreciate the times, definitely.
It's a blessing for me to meet young people every year, and never know who's going to stick around, who I'm going to know later, who I'm going to work with, maybe do business with, be able to counsel. You as a teacher, as an educator, you just throw seed.
Yep.
You throw seed. And, I'm not selling a product as it were. I'm selling a mindset, in high school, to get people to kind of transition, and so get them kind of ready for, start thinking a little bit broader than, just video games and, girls and, stuff like that, dances and kickbacks and that kind of stuff. So, I'm glad that we've been able to, thank God for, social media. Some people call it the devil, but I've had a great opportunity to, connect with old friends, old students. I mean, and, you guys are, your group is young, but, y'all just hitting 30. My first baby's from Eastside. Y'all just hitting 30. So, it's good to welcome y'all into the crossover stage. And but yeah, man. So tell us, how did you get to, in the midst of a global shutdown, a national shutdown, how did you grow your business 10x in this last 365 days?
Wow.
I don't know if you want to start there, or if you want to go back further, or whichever way you want to flow.
Man, it's a good question, man. I would say the first thing, I'll go back a little bit. I would say the first thing, before I started this business, I was a major gambler. I had an addiction to gambling. I always wanted to make income, but I just didn't know which way to go. I was working a job, wasn't satisfied with the amount of money that I was making, and I was trying to figure out ways on how to flip my money. And I remember walking home one night, and what happened was I lost $500 in about 2 minutes at the gambling house, and I decided to walk out. Leave. I was done. On this walk, this is where the change had took place for me. I told God, I was like, God, I'm way better than this. I should be more around influential people and people that have what I desire. Yeah. And I told God, I said, you know what, I'm done, and I really believe in my heart that I was really sincere with my talk with God. At that time was my breaking point. It was where like I was broken because I was like, man, I gambled everything I had. Like I'm always losing. I wanted to win.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what it was like to win. So I wrote God gave me a vision 2 months ago prior, but I didn't write it down because I didn't see a financial gain from it.
All right.
I got it down on paper, and once I got it down on paper, that's where God started moving some things around. 2 weeks later, I got connected to a realtor, actually a mortgage loan officer named Shayla Johnson, and then Shayla Johnson connected me to a pastor named Corey Saxton, who's
Okay.
currently pastor in Palmdale, right next to P Knight, and that's where the journey really began. He took me under his wing, introduced me to some really successful people. But
Okay.
for me, it was I feel like he gave me he did something special for me, man. I feel like the fact that I met him, he gave me the ability to to acquire wealth. And I think I don't take that lightly because there's not a lot of people that were given that opportunity.
Sure.
There's not, jobs weren't really given the opportunity to be flexible, have time freedom, and really to dream again. Because when you think of a job, sometimes it's like, man, I already know what I'm going to be getting. I already know what I'm looking forward to. But seeing this vehicle, it was like, you know what, I can take off with this. And my credit score was already bad as it is. It was a 414. So I was like, at what else do I have to lose? So I was like, you know what? Let me get my credit fixed and make some income at the same time, right?
Nice.
So
Good start.
good start. So within the first 60 days, me being a part of this platform, my credit went up from a 414 to a 520. So when I seen that, I was like, you know what? I got something here.
Yeah.
Bingo. This is going to be a game changer. We live in Lancaster. So many people in Lancaster, their credit score is not where it needs to be. So I was like, this is a perfect vehicle for me to really pioneer. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm about to tell everybody. I don't care if I know you. We don't have to know each other. I'm going to inbox strangers. I'm going to inbox realtors, mortgage officers, lenders. I'm going to tell everybody about this business. And, it wasn't always easy. It's still not easy to this day. I never gave up. I believed in myself because if God gave me the vision, then it's obviously something that I have to do here. And I was like, you know what? We're gonna get it done. So I remember September through December were my slowest months. It's where my car got repossessed.
This is 2020.
2019.
2019. Okay, cool. All
We're
right.
approaching 2020. So my car got repossessed 2019 in September. Multiple pay or quit notices on my door, behind on rent, like about $4,500. And you know what? For me, I don't stress over things I can't control. If I can't control it, I'm not about to stress about it. It just makes no sense. At the end of the day, it's like, God, you know what my circumstances are. Like, I put this in your hands. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
So I continued the business. I never gave up. I kept on going despite adversity, despite tribulations and so forth. And I remember February 2020 was where my breakthrough month had happened. It's when I hit a position called regional sales director. And I had one of my biggest months where I made over $7,400. And that came because of me never giving up and never quitting. So, now that we're entering into this next month of February, COVID just starting, just got a convention February 1st through the 4th. Very good convention. I'm feeling good. I was like, you know what? I got to take this team to the next level. Despite the distractions around me and different things, I want to make something of myself. So really using social media. Social media was like really, it helped out a lot. Having the ability to network as many people as I can, and developing a following, developing that trust, and be using that social media and establish a social media presence, was able to build a successful business. That's still going on. I mean, looking at the beginning of February 2020, we're probably at like maybe 45 business partners. Now 2021, April 25th, we're at about 130. So
Nice.
so extreme growth there, but it took a lot of work, persistence, believing in myself. I had to rebuild my organization twice. What that means is some of my top leaders had left, and I had to go find other people to help me accomplish the vision of this business. And that's the vision is to help more people become homeowners, right? But not only that, help other people understand financial literacy and financial freedom.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's huge. It's huge because until you can go into the bank and set the terms, you know, until you're in a position at the car dealership to set the terms and define, the parameters in which you will work. And by that, I mean, you already have the check, right? You've already negotiated the loan. So now all you're doing is who's going to make the deal that I want to make. It's really when you have a 414, you have no buying power, as it were, as it relates to credit. You walk into Best Buy and they're like, no, you cannot get a TV. And you're like, man, I can't get a TV. You know what I mean? I can't, if you go to a car dealership, a used car dealership, they'll give you a car. Oh, easy finance, credito fácil and all of that, but it's going to be a 28% interest. It's going to be a 35% interest. You're going to pay 10 times what the sticker price was on that because of the finance charges. And that's all about that credit score. And so the earlier we can get people to understand how money works, understand the language that they're going to hear, the terminology they need to at least understand on a cursory level when they walk into a financial institution and ask for, $300, $400, $500, $800,000 to purchase a property, whether it's a single family residence, a duplex, multiple family, sort of property. Yeah, that's great. But, to go from, again, in that, in the pandemic, which is what you made it out to be, you go from 45 people in business with you to 130 partners. And that's wonderful because, that's a lot of plates to be able to get a forkful from, that's really good. It's a lot less work that you have. So you mentioned social media, and the ability to, contact people and network and reach out and share, the good news of, financial opportunity through, the credit repair business that you're in, financial education. Was there a moment that you recognized that each no brought you closer to the next yes? Can you think back to one particular moment when you just started laughing at the no and like, yeah. Okay, cool. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. You'll be back. Let me move on to the next one at this moment.
That's a good question, man. I'm gonna say, I remember talking to a lady about the business, and I was constantly hitting her up over time, and finally got in contact with her. She was a realtor, and she was just telling me, MLMs or network marketing doesn't work, and only the people at the top make the money, and different things.
Wait, before you go any further, who does she work for? Just what company? Like she's either with Century 21, she's with Remax or one of Keller Williams, and gonna say that multi-level marketing doesn't work, even though you're not the broker. But anyway, go ahead. Don't name it. Don't name it. It's all good. Go ahead.
I don't remember, but you know what? That conversation, she was like, the only people that at the top make money, I've been a part of this, I did this. And, watch when you start to get, higher up, you start to enter these rooms and really start to tell you the truth about these network marketing companies. And, I was trying to recruit her in my business, but she gave me, she passed on discomfort. Like what I was doing was not going to work It doesn't matter how hard you work, you'll never get to the top. And for me, I love building. Building gives me adrenaline.
Mhm.
So when I'm out there recruiting, I get go through a no, that's one less person I got to talk to. You're making my job easier. So when she said no, I quickly unfollowed her. I unfollowed that. I pressed the unfollow, so I didn't see none of her posts in my newsfeed.
Mm.
And that was all she wrote. But the no's that I got, whether it was a customer or a business partner, it didn't stop me because for me, it was no other option. I wasn't going back to a 9 to 5.
Right.
So sooner or later, I realized that, okay, you know what? Just because this person says no does not mean that the rest of these 3.1, 5.1 billion people on Facebook are going to say no. It's way too many people to say no. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to see value in what you're doing, but it's about
Absolutely.
value that you're giving. So a lot of times, Mr. Wellington, um, people may say no in the beginning, but if you keep on promoting yourself, keep on promoting your business and so forth, they'll come back around. They'll come back around because they see that you're not stopping, you're not giving up on yourself. So it has to be something that this product is doing for you to keep on going. It
That's
has
right.
to be.
That's right. Absolutely. It's similar. The thing that I understand maybe best about multi-level marketing is that it's so much like proselytizing in the church. You're all you're doing, TD Jake said that his sister told him that sharing the gospel is one beggar telling another beggar where to find the bread, right? And so if you are in a position where you can eat every month, every week, twice a week, couple times a week, every time the FedEx truck, comes down the block, they're dropping a check off at your door, or you're getting a ping for a deposit from, whatever product that went through. Um, that's teaching a man to fish. And for the Christians among us, and in our audience this evening or
Yeah.
whenever, they'll catch that reference. Um, it's so vastly important, um, to share, the truth when you have it, when you've got the opportunity, and you look at everybody in your generation and you say, man, you guys are you're missing the point, right? You're missing. When I say you're missing the point, I mean you're not traveling, you're not seeing anything different. You're looking at the same four walls every day. You know what I mean. You look maybe older than you should. You're not taking care of yourself. Blah blah blah. Woo, woo. And there's so much more out there.
Yeah.
Um, you have you were tell us about I know you were doing a little bit of traveling um, last year. You were traveling when almost nobody else was traveling. I was like, Torreyun was gone. I was like, I was at the house with a mask on, and you were gone. And I was like, so what made you comfortable traveling? What made it, um, you know, besides, just vacationing, was there some business that you were doing? What was motivating you to go ahead and travel and just be like, I'm out of here?
Yeah. Well, even before COVID, got to go back. I've been on multiple cruises. Always like vacationing. There's nothing. I never let anything stop me from, doing the things that I wanted to do. And probably why it didn't work for me, and working at a job place because I wanted to do Torreyun wanted to do what he wanted to do always, but that doesn't work. They have policies and procedures in place. So
Mhm.
coming from a place where I've been on multiple cruises in the Caribbean, been to the Bahamas, been to multiple islands in the Dominican Republic, been to Barbados, St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Lucia, all those different islands, and Jamaica, and
Mhm.
seeing all the different things that God has for us. It's like, okay, yeah, COVID is out, but I caught COVID February in 2020 of February. So I was really sick. I nursed myself back to health. So I was like, you know what? I caught COVID. I feel like it's a flu. I really, I felt like as long as I just be safe and, wear my mask, I'll be okay. But what was driving me I had a significant other in Chicago. I had a significant
Okay.
other in Chicago that I was trying to get to know, and trying to make some things work and do business with, and just trying to pursue something that that I wanted to see blossom. I was I really liked a certain individual, and she made me happy, and it was just I loved her. So love will make you do some crazy things. While COVID, I'm still traveling 3,000, 5,000, and 10,000 miles across to Chicago. So me personally, I was like, you know what, God, if I'm gonna catch COVID, how I'm gonna catch it. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna live. What the thing is this: if you're gonna catch it, it's gonna happen. That's just how it is.
Okay.
You know. So,
Okay. Okay. Um, let's see. So let's go back to the business really quickly. So what's the first thing, if there's, I mean, let's give some value, as you stated earlier. Let's give a little bit of value. Printer's running in the back. Let's give a little bit of value. What's a couple of credit tips that you can share, with just the average individual, the first couple of things that you're going to talk to a person about, as you begin to meet with them? I'm sorry. Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
First, first, I would say, that 35% of your overall credit is your payment history. The second thing is your utilization rate. So you want to make sure that you're paying your bills on time, because any late payment can drop your score anywhere from 50 to over 100 points. You got to make sure that you keep your credit card usage down below 30%. So that means you got $1,000 credit card, you don't want to spend over $300, because credit usage is very important. That when you have a card, they're not saying to use that whole amount. Like, that's not your money. You have to use it responsibly. So the first thing we want to do is see exactly what's on your credit report. What negative items are affecting your credit score. Of course, we prepare dispute letters for every last negative item that's on your credit report. But not only that, we want to see, what are you doing to build credit? Because there's a lot of people that, have bad credit. They have there's a lot of people that don't have any negative items on their credit report, but they don't have no positive history. So
Yes.
You need positive history on that credit report, whether it's self-lender. It used to be My Jewelry Club, but they stopped My Jewelry Club from reporting to the bureaus. So there's different, companies that you can use to report on your credit as a positive history. There's an app called Kickoff that where you buy subscriptions.
Okay.
And you can download this, and it'll help you with establishing payment history and usage. Remember, I always said 35% of your overall credit is payment history. So if you're making payments on this Kickoff app every month, your sal is going to help you build up payment history. And then the usage, you want to make sure you keep that usage down. The two biggest things about our credit is those two. And that's why people are having bad credit, because of those things. They're missing payments or utilization. But not only that, sometimes, you establish debt, with different creditors. Maybe you forgot to pay your Time Warner bill and they sent to collections. Maybe you left Verizon, in a hurry. You want to switch over to T-Mobile. They sent it to collections. So it's all different factors. But the point is, it doesn't matter if you have bad credit; it can be rebuilt again. No credit can't be rebuilt. All credit can be rebuilt. That's what I love about it. You can literally fix your credit, mess it up, and fix it over and over again. Does it take some time? Yeah. So it's just better to do things the right way. But for those of us that aren't educated, get educated, so that way those things never happen again. You can live the lifestyle of traveling, without actually paying, using your reward miles to fly for free. Using reward miles to go into hotels because you have good credit. Using those American Express cards, those Delta cards, which accumulate to points. All you're doing is tying bills to the car, paying it off, you get points, and then you can fly for free.
There we go. There we go. You mentioned creditors, and the company that you actually have a contract with sending that negative bill off to creditors. And correct me if I'm wrong, but a creditor comes in, purchases that debt for pennies on the dollar. Then those are the people that are giving you the call saying, hey, we need this money. When can we, this is an attempt to collect a debt, yada, 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 anything, blah, blah, blah. So should we ever deal with those people? Do we pay those people ever? Do we talk to those people, or what's the number one? Okay, I have mine, but give me your number one rule when it comes to dealing with a creditor.
You hit it on the nail, Mr. Wellington. The first thing is, you never want to pay debt collectors unless they have a deletion letter to delete that debt. So what I tell my clients is this: when you have collection accounts, stop paying them. There's no point, because the thing about it is, let's say I'm Verizon and you're the client. Let's say I do bad business with you and I stop paying my bill. They send it out to collections, and let's say you, Mr. Wellington, you owe me $700. You don't pay me. I'm going to charge it off of my taxes and, sell it to a collection agency for like $325, right? So I sell it to a collection agency for $325. The collection agency is going to buy the debt for $325, but then try to collect $700 from you. So they bought it for $325. They'll make about a $375 difference, right? And that's how the collection, it's a $1 million industry, because the lack of knowledge. The Bible says that people perish because of lack of knowledge, right? So if you don't know these things, then you'll be paying these collections. And when you pay collections, what happens if you pay collections without a letter of deletion? It will say paid as agreed. Can that collection item affect your credit still? Yes, it can, because it's still on your credit report. So it doesn't matter if you paid off that debt or not. Because if you paid off what happens when you go buy a house is the realtor can still pull that stuff up. So if you're going to pay these collection agencies, make sure you got a letter of deletion stating that they're going to delete the account if you pay. Because if you just pay it, it's going to stay paid as agreed on your account, and it's still negative derogatory remarks. Realtors can still see that. Banks can still do that. They can still see it, and that'll stop you from getting a loan or a house or even a car because of that derogatory remark that you thought you settled, but you really didn't settle.
There we go. There we go. And that's the key. People, sometimes you post things and you say things like, people are always trying to ask you, are you still with the scam or something like that? And it's interesting, the Bible talks about, it's easier for, a rich man, a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. And we can almost flip that and say it's easier for a poor person to volunteer for the poor line than it is to get a person to come, follow you and say, no, really, it's like, this is really accessible. This is really doable. You could really get this thing going. What are your thoughts on people that, come into, you talked about reinventing, and you talked about the credit, being bad, fixing it, messing it up again, fixing it again. In the same way, do you give, people in your business, if you're thinking about partnering with somebody, do you give people in your business the opportunity to succeed for a minute, make a few dollars, get lazy, and then fail, and then, recover again? Are you open to continually, mentoring them if they're really trying to get the information?
So that's a good question. I'm going to say that, when a person is investing, their money into a business, you got to factor the cost. You got to factor what's at stake You got to factor, what are you doing this for? You got to factor, how long do you see yourself, doing this? You got to factor how much income you would like to make, and you got to factor, oh, how busy in my life can I even put time into this business? A lot of people come, they get motivated, by a person like me that's coming to them, and telling them about the great things I've done and the great things that they can do if they put their mind to it. But as a person, as a human being, outside of the motivation and all those different things, you got to think about what you can really handle and what you can really do. Because a lot of people come into business and they say you want to make $10,000 or $20,000 a month, but don't got 20,000, $10,000 a work ethic.
That's right.
And I'm saying, it's really a mindset thing, from shifting from employee to an entrepreneur now,
Yeah.
and that's not always easy. It takes some time, because just think about it, we're conditioned to work for someone. We came into this world knowing that, our parents worked, we worked, and that's how it is. We didn't know anything about creating or starting a business. No one taught me about that stuff in high school or anything like that.
Mhm.
Like, I had to figure this stuff out. I had to experience life.
Mhm.
I have to go through many things. So when it comes to a person that is trying, or they're trying to succeed, but they're failing, I'll continuously mentor. As long as you're giving 100% of your time, and you're trying to do something with your life, I will continuously be there. It's when you stop, I'll know that you're just not trying, you're not doing, you're not engaged, you're not on the calls, you're not on the trainings. When those things start to happen, I'm very cautious on who I give my time, because I can't get my time back. You know what
That's
I'm
right.
saying? So if I'm going to be investing, if you're going to be in this business, I'm going to mentor you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to show you, but I need to know if you're running with me. You know what I'm saying? And just give you an example. When I first started this business, I was at my mentor's house 2 to 3 times a week. I was at my mentor's house 2 to 3 times a week studying this business. I was on the phone with him every day.
Yeah.
Every single day, I was on the phone with him asking different questions. Whenever he went to different meetings, I was there. I was serious about this, because at the end of the day, my back was against the wall, and I told myself I had no other option. Like,
Okay.
this is has to work, and if it doesn't, I don't know what else will,
Yeah.
because I wanted to be a cop, and God could redirected my life here. So, God, this has to work.
Yeah.
I don't care what I go through, but I know there got to be some type of light at the end of the tunnel if I just keep on going.
Mhm.
So, when it comes to mentoring people, I know if you're serious or not. Because I'll give you different tasks to do. If you complete those tasks, let me know that you're coachable. If you're
Okay.
not coachable, I can't work with you. I just can't. You got to be coachable. You got to be hungry. You got to have your own ambition. You
There you
can't
go.
run my ambition and my dream. No, and motivation won't help you. You got to have your own ambition. You got to have your own why. You got to know what your why is. That pushes you every day.
That's right. Um, it's interesting. You said something very close to it was at the beginning of what you stated. I didn't write it down because it just made me think. It was like, oh, you said 10 or 20,000 a month, but they don't have 10 or 20,000 a month effort. And it was what is so similar is so many thousands of young men have come to me, Coach, I want to play in the NFL. Coach, I want to, run in the Olympics. I want to wrestle in the Olympics. I want to play pro baseball. I want to play in the NBA. And I'm like, cool, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
Right.
And so I always want to put the ball back in their hands, right? They make that statement, I want to play professional sports. And I'm like, great, I had the same dream. And I'm not going to tell you that because I didn't play, big time college football or anything like that, that you can't, right? I'm never going to say that.
Right.
But what I am going to say is, what are you willing to sacrifice
Mm.
to get there? Young people will come to me with, I want to play in the NBA. I'm like, well, why aren't you playing for the school now? Oh, they suck. I'm like, well, if they suck and you didn't make the team or you didn't go out for the team, obviously your desire, right, to play basketball isn't that high. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put it back in their hand and say, well, you told me that you wanted to use this vehicle of a business to earn 10,000, 20,000. You want it to exceed the amount of income that you can look forward to getting from your current working situation.
Absolutely.
And then when you go to explain that being an entrepreneur, that's a French term that means literally to make something out of nothing. So it's not at all that, oh yeah, well, now I get to sip coffee all day and I can make my own schedule. I can wake up whenever and I can work. It's like, no, now you got to work. Tell me, put the words in my mouth. I think it says it's something close to the entrepreneur is the only person that is willing that will work 80 hours a week to not work 40 hours a week. 80 hours a week, to build his business, to not work 40 hours a week for somebody else.
So like we're willing to do things that people aren't due to and have a life that people dream of having. Something, yeah.
Yeah, they're both applicable.
Yeah.
And speaking of quotes and different things like that, what are you reading right now? What's on your current reading list?
Oh, good question. I'm reading John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's fun. A friend of mine, a teacher friend of mine, we were talking about Maxwell about, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago. And I'd mentioned I was reading, like the 101 series or, something like that. And, the 101 series, for those of you that haven't read any of Maxwell's writings, or leadership, communication, team building, so on and so forth down the line. And he was like, yeah, well, I don't really give much credit to Maxwell because, he's a pastor, he's the son of a pastor. And I'm like, he took the church that he was at from 200 to, 5,000, members or something like that with multiple campuses, this, that, and the other. And since then, since leaving the pastorate full time, he's written 70 plus books. He's been recruited by and consulted for countries around the world.
Chick-fil-A.
Huh?
Chick-fil-A was a consulted for.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, just countries around the world, companies all over the world. Certainly still, speaks and preaches and does those things. And Maxwell's tremendous. I know TD Jakes recently put out "Don't Drop the Mic," and I haven't picked it up yet. I'm still working on "Soar." He's putting them out faster than I can get through them because I'm not a book finisher. I want to get going on something. That if when I read something, it's kind of like, it's marching orders. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's go get it. So after I get those things done, then the next thing is, okay, let me go back to the book later. But I had a friend, Heather, in junior high, and Heather used to read Stephen King books, and now Stephen King is before, J.K. Rowling with the Harry Potter books, but but they were just thick volumes, 500-600 pages. And she's like, oh, I'll knock this down this weekend. And I was like, well, what? I don't understand. What do you mean? But she's probably the same person that'll look at me and say, how can you watch so much television? Do you find yourself, how many hours a week right now are you given to the business? If you do you keep a tab on your time, that your commitment, or is it just kind of constant?
Man, as soon as I wake up in the morning, that can be anywhere from 6, sometimes 5, anywhere between 5 and 8. As soon as I wake up in the morning, what I've been doing is, the first thing I've been doing is, putting God first, praying, trying not to, view my cell phone the first thing, when I first wake up.
Yeah.
And, after I spend about an hour with God, I will get straight to it because I got people on the East Coast, Eastern
Yeah.
Standard Time,
Yeah.
and they're already going. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
already 3 hours. So as soon as I got multiple text messages from my team, like, hey, can you do a call? Can you do this? Probably missed the phone call, because they already up and going. It's crazy.
And you waking up late.
Right. Exactly.
You way late, homeboy.
Right. I gotta wake up at 4 just to meet them at 7, so it's like I'm working on it. But it's tough, waking up early. It's tough. But I would say that the amount of hours, honestly, I would say sometimes it's 10 or 12-hour days.
Mhm.
That of course I take breaks. I may even
Sure.
take a nap. I may even I may go out and get some groceries, but I'm still working. So with this type of business model, you're able to be very flexible. I can be out grocery shopping and still taking calls. So
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
business it's constantly going because I'm always on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Either I'm doing my personal production or I'm handling calls for my team. So, but as far as like winding down time, I would say my winding down time usually after about 8 o'clock, 8:30. So I'll start maybe 8 o'clock. Uh, yeah, about 8 o'clock in the morning, and probably don't end till like 8 o'clock at night. That's when things start kind of winding down. I really don't experiencing more calls. I may inbox some people or call some people, but that's just like my own stuff.
Gotcha.
So 10 to 12 hour days.
Oh, yeah. 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 And it's interesting because um, I talk with people, and now I'm in a position in my career as a teacher and a coach that where I'm the one mentoring new teachers, and I'm doing that for young people coming into the profession and telling them how to be successful on campus, how to make a career of this, um, and also how to get it in terms of money. you know Teaching is a great profession if you do it right, to really set yourself up nicely, because you have so much evening time available. Once when teachers are off at 3, that may be your next market where you can tap into some young professionals, educators, where if they're single, they have no children, their evenings are free, right now, and they can make some calls, and they can, attend some trainings and do some different things like that. And then, for a person, especially that's motivated, that's really trying to excel professionally, give themselves an opportunity to decide if they want to stay with teaching, because a lot of people burn out. And so, having the opportunity to, work with someone like yourself, work in a business like yours, where they have the flexibility to not only augment their income, but to possibly, replace it, you know, especially early on. First year teachers, um, they're gonna be all right. They're gonna make more than their counterparts at, Chick-fil-A, or, something like that. They're gonna be around the 50 mark. Police and firefighters certainly start a little bit higher, but it's all about what people want to do. So let me see. What time? Oh, yeah, we're good. Okay, so let me ask you a couple more questions. Um, what's next for you? What's on your immediate agenda for in the next 60 days? What's the big fish in the next 60 days?
Wow. What's next, man? It's a big question, man. Well, what is next, man? That is a big question.
Well, that's not even next. That's now. I mean, 60 days. That's gonna go by like that. Or is it just
Man,
team
we just
building and
going, man. We're just going like, like for the next 60 days, um, trying to help more people leave their 9 to 5, man. Like, we're trying to help more people become more homeowners, help more people get their credit fixed. You
Yeah.
know, we're always looking for new success stories. So the next 60 days, I would like to see multiple people in my organization go sales director and above, and that's a prestigious position. Pretty much at sales director, you could pretty much walk away from corporate America if you like, because you're pretty much making anywhere from, I mean, the highest I've made as sales director was about 7,000 at that position.
Okay.
Sales director means that you're pretty much making about 380 off of every business partner that joins your organization.
Okay.
So on average, sales directors should be making around like 3 to 4K if they're doing everything right.
Mhm.
Um, I want to see more sales directors. I want to see more homeowners, more people with improved credit.
Mhm.
Uh, more leaders being bored in my organization. Um, but I really just want to see people free. That's the ultimate goal, to help people become free. And what I mean by free is, more people to be able to spend more time with their family,
Mhm.
more people to be able to establish what their vision and what their game plan is instead of building someone else's.
That's right.
Uh, Free as far as, not only that, free, even healthy. Like, I want to see more people healthy as well. Like, you got to be healthy doing this business, because I work from home, so it's easy just to, I'm always on the go.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it, brother. Like, I haven't, 60 days. Like, yeah, I can think about myself in a position that I want to hit, but I focus on everybody else, because if I can get everybody else promoted, I'll automatically promote. So I
Absolutely.
focus on everybody else's growth, everybody else making money. I
Mhm.
tell my time, I can't wait till you guys show me $1,000 checks in one week, 2,000, $5,000 checks in one week, because I've already did it.
Yeah.
I want you guys to do it, because that is true success to me, when I can duplicate myself, when I can
Absolutely.
show other people how to do the same thing and they follow the steps and they're there. And
That's
so
right.
far, I would say only 2 people have duplicated, meaning that they got it. You know what I'm saying? They listen and they're going. The rest, we're still training, transitioning, mindset, personal development, breaking psychological barriers, all that different stuff. This is ministry for me.
Sure.
Like, I feel like I'm leading the church. Somewhat, because I'm constantly pouring in, pouring in, pouring in,
Mhm.
and it's bigger than me. It's not about me. It's about helping these individuals get to a place where God wants them to be. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's not about me making money. It's about you guys being free, because when you think about the generations before you probably lived in poverty and poverty and poverty, and now you're here and you're trying to break free. The enemy does not want you to break free. You know what I'm saying? He's going to try to keep you keep you there as long as possible. And I know this because for the longest, I was there. I was that person. It seems
Yeah.
like my life is a replay of what I'm doing with some of these individuals.
Yeah.
Like, I'm helping them break psychological, but I'm able to help them a lot faster. I
Yeah.
went me a lot longer, but I'm able to help them a lot faster, because now I have the blueprint on how to get out.
Sure. Sure.
Mhm.
And that's the key. If you can give somebody a system to follow, right? That's it. That's it right there. Because and that's why it's called multi-level marketing. Because there's one of the ways that I explain it in terms of understanding is to young people. It's like, look, there's certain groups that I'm in, certain circles where I'm the guru, right? And then there's other groups where I'm the grunt and I'm happy to be the usher. And, I'm just glad to be in the room and listen to these guys, these giants, in my life that have, they've got the home, they've got the family, they've got the business, they've got the respect, admiration, whatever it was that they were seeking to attain, the brand impressions, and all of those sort of things. So when we have, the opportunity to exchange, um, it rolls down and it builds up. So I take I'm working with a couple of people now, and they're like, oh, I'm trying to get going, I'm trying to get my thing together, you know, because when situations happen. I mean, like you said, you received, pay or quit notifications. Um, siblings, or not siblings, but siblings, parents, close friends, relatives pass away. It rocks people differently depending on their foundation and their, what their core beliefs and, what they've been built to withstand.
Right.
So, okay, so we got the next 60 days. What's a big, not a bucket list item for you, but there's something in your business, if there's a title, or I don't know if you guys do like $1 million rings or, something like that. Give me a career goal and give me a personal goal that you can share, with us this evening that's keeping you, amped up and ready to go for each coming day.
Um, you always use stories. And I don't know why I use stories to answer questions, but my mentor, Mr. Alfred Nixon, he's 28 years old. Lived in Miami, one of the worst cities in Miami, I believe, was Liberty City, which is, if you ever seen First 48, that's the city that he pretty much lived in and grew up in. He was cleaning up trash on the beach for the sanitation, and um, he was living with his parents, going check to check, and he was broke. Wasn't really making the amount of money he was looking to make. That was 4 years. That was 4 years ago. Now he's at a position called Pinnacle Senior Vice President, where he's making about $500,000 a month. We're not talking about a year. We're talking about $500,000 a month. Every single month, 453 or $500,000 going into his bank account, and it's just
Mm.
absolutely, it's crazy. So when we talk
Wow.
about what's driving me, I don't think it's the income that I can make. I think it's really the freedom that I'll have, because I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for three or four generations down the line, or even
Yeah.
five.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of ahead. So
Yeah.
my mentor always says that service to many equals greatness. So as long as I learn how to serve, I'll
That's,
never have to worry about income
that's right.
ever. So it's really, I can't even say it's the money, but well, because I don't do this for the money. I do it because
Sure.
it feels like the right thing to do. It feels good to help somebody. It feels good to help people break through. You know what I'm saying? Break
Absolutely.
whatever they're going through psychologically, however it goes. It feels good to be able to explain how money works to somebody, because I didn't know, nobody explained it to me.
Sure.
So but what's driving me is the ability to connect with so many different people, increasing my network, establishing business, and showing people the way on how this business model makes sense.
Yeah.
But is the income amazing? Absolutely, it's phenomenal. I love the income here, but that's one of the, probably say, the second thing that's on my list is really about helping the people get to where I am. I want to see them here. It's not about me going to the top. I can say I want to reach vice president. I want to reach pinnacle. No, I want to help all these people get there. That's where I'm going to be like, you know what? So I did this. I did this because God gave me a vision, but I didn't realize who I was doing it for. I thought I was doing it for myself, but really it was people assigned to my name.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I can't think. I don't know. I don't know if we can go up from there. So I think that's a great place, to call it. This is just the first time we're sitting down like this. So grateful for, this vehicle of, telecommunication. In this day and age. I mean, when I was a kid watching the Jetsons, it was not even a real dream to say, oh yeah, I'll be able to talk face to face, with one of my friends, around the world, or if they're in Japan. Or I had a pen pal when I was in the 5th or 6th grade. I had a pen pal in Israel, and we really used to write letters, and it would be however long, how many ever weeks between, them receiving ours and us receiving theirs. And, to think that we could be that there's sixth grade classes right now that are just beaming, like, waving at each other live and, hey, and, mirroring each other and whatnot. So
Right.
it's really cool. And, this vehicle right here is the opportunity that somebody created because they followed their mandate. And, that's really cool. So we want to set the next person ablaze. So how can, if people want to get in contact with you, and I either hear a presentation, to get their credit together, or if they're looking to make a, career transition to become an entrepreneur, how can they track you down? I'll definitely put the links to your stuff, but just say it so they can tap in.
Yeah. You can Torreyun Wood. That's spelled Torreyun. Last name is Wood. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram the same way. Those are the two platforms I use to connect with others. I haven't tapped into Twitter or YouTube yet, or TikTok, but you guys can find me on Facebook and Instagram at that above name.
Cool. Yeah. Well, guys, this is Coach Wellington and our guest this evening, Torreyun Wood. And this has been I Represent the 2%. And we look forward to our next group and our next guest. And we'll be back with you in a week. Thank you. And, God bless. Have a good week. 1 second.